Hello.
Hi, how are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you?
Good. I'm going to make you a co-host. Let's
Hey, your
see.
forehead today. Sorry.
Oh,
I had my hair pulled back. I'm like, I should probably put it down.
oh,
Yeah, I've got the presentation. So you're just gonna make me and I'll
I-
just run it.
yeah.
Okay.
I made you a co-host, so
Okay.
yep. So you can just run it. And
Okay,
it's already
great.
recording, so once it's done, I will give it to you to do.
Okay.
Then, sorry, I'm just looking at something. Yes. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How'd your meeting go?
It was good. It was good. It only well, 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, so it wasn't bad. Our board wasn't super chatty, but they never all. Well, you know what? The meeting is recording, so can you edit that out so it starts later? Or do we need to end the meeting and get back in?
That's
So I don't
okay.
want all that to be like in part of the recording.
I'll edit it out.
Can you? Okay,
I should be able to
perfect.
share my
Okay.
screen.
Let's,
Good. Okay. That's what I had hoped for. I put notes. I never really have done like the slide notes before. And I
oh,
put
okay.
some notes in it this time, but I want to make sure you're not seeing it. So you're not seeing the slide notes. You just see this screen, right?
Correct.
Yay.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Perfect. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How about you guys?
Good. Mel, we see each other multiple times today.
Yes, ma'am. Nice to see you again.
You too.
Yeah.
Mel's on our board, so we spent the
Oh,
morning together.
oh,
Or
good.
late early afternoon.
Fun times.
Yes. It was a good meeting. All right. So we're not seeing presentation view now. We're just seeing
Yeah,
the
I
slides
know.
with the slides on the side.
It's not playing nice with me with my other notes. So I'm just gonna, do you mind? It doesn't matter, does it?
No,
Or
that's fine. Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
Otherwise we'll block my other notes. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome everybody. We will get started and well, it's 2:30. I guess we'll wait another minute or so and then we can get started.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, Shannon, should we go ahead and get started? You're on mute.
Yes, sure.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you have at it.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon. Sorry. I don't even know what time of the day it is. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Happy Independence Day. And you're catching up from maybe a shortened week last week. I have multiple screens open, so I don't have this as like in presentation mode because it's cutting off some of my other things. This is a heavy topic we're going to talk about today. But what I want to start with, in case we still have some people chiming or coming into the meeting, is just our normal review of the women's mentoring program.
Good job.
Just want to kind of mention
The
and just
mentoring
remind
call for
everybody,
3 minutes.
please
That's all we're doing.
put yourself on mute. And we are recording. If you missed this class, this presentation, have to jump off or want to share it with somebody else, you know, Amy will be sending out a link to the YouTube channel so you can see the other classes prior or monthly meetings before, or catch this one or share this one with somebody else. We encourage in the women's mentoring program, women on fire to bond. We are more powerful when we work together, and just wanted to review that we are in the middle of our monthly schedule here in July. We still have August and September and some great other presenters and topics that are coming up. But we are midsummer and hope you guys are doing well with business and staying busy, but hopefully finding some time to meet with your mentees or your mentors, or just even as a group to be getting together outside of these monthly calls. And if you are just getting together for these monthly calls, you know, of course, we are so excited that you're here, but let anybody else know that you think might be interested in the industry to join the Women's Mentoring Program. As we get into September and October, we'll talk more about next year. And we have some new and exciting ideas for the Women's Mentoring Program in 2026. So just a review of the group meetings. It's a 30-minute, these 30-minute Zooms. It's recorded and you can share them or review them later, as we talked about. We just have a quick topic and then we open the floor up for feedback and conversations or questions. Today is a pretty heavy topic. There might be a lot of questions. I would ask that you put them into the chat and I will go through them after we finish the presentation. And then of course, you know, if you have to jump off before we finish, after we do kind of a Q&A, again, go back to the YouTube channel and watch, you know, some of that, the remainder of the meeting, if you missed any of it. And also just wanted to put a shout out there to NFI and Rich offering the Hearth Design Specialist. If you have not taken advantage of this opportunity, or you want somebody else in your company to take advantage of this opportunity, please reach out to Amy, let her know. They are offering the program and certification for free. So please reach out to Amy if you haven't taken advantage of it just yet. It's awesome. And I know there's a lot of people in this program who have taken that opportunity and have passed and have become HDS certified. So that's me. My name is Shannon. My last name is Good. You might have known me previously as Good Marketing Group. Our company merged with Spark Marketers back in June of 24, and we are already a year into our company business, and we are FutureNow Marketing. And actually, Amy asked me to bring up this topic. It was actually a question that somebody asked to be a part of the expo of next year. And our company actually broadened our services and embraced AI instead of being afraid of it. We embraced it to use it for our marketing services for our clients, Hearth dealers like yourself. So of course she asked, could you talk a little bit about, we already had a great meeting on the convenience and how cool AI is, but there's a lot of hidden threats as well. And as AI is becoming more popular and growing and being used and being tested, there are hidden threats. But I'm here to tell you right now, don't be afraid of that. And so we're going to talk about 5 of the main hidden threats I want you all to be aware of. And by being aware of that, that's going to enable you to be kind of a little bit more empowered to be the person in your company who knows more about it, who's educated on it. The more we learn about things, the better and more comfortable we feel with them. So I encourage you to, you know, if you have a little bit of anxiety around AI, please don't. Just I did at first, and I was like, I'll let my partners deal with this. But as I learned about it, I realized how much it also benefits me, but it also benefits my clients in efficiency of time and creativity and broadening our messaging to other, you know, target audiences. So, but this was a really important topic that Amy brought up, and I thought it was really I appreciated that she brought it up to my attention because I needed to learn some of these things. And I brought this information back to my partners, and we have shared it with our company as well. A lot of them we knew, but some of them were kind of new and are still evolving. So with that being said, We're going to, as I just kind of talked about the overview, we're going to talk about what these hidden threats are. There's 5 of them that I want to just focus on today that are relevant, and I have examples for the hearth industry, but also to identify some proactive steps and how you can protect your business and your customers. And like I said, education empowers us. And that's also why you're a part of the women's mentoring group, is because you're learning from each other, and that helps you, empowers you to be better leaders in this industry. So diving right in, the first thing that we're going to talk about are that's a discussion point as the first threat to be aware of is AI-powered cyber threats. They're on the rise. Everybody already knows about hackers. I hope none of you have ever been hacked personally or even in business. But, you know, I always say, I wish the people who are the hackers use that brain power for something good versus something bad, you know, but they do, and they make money off of it. And so they're now using AI to create some more like sophisticated phishing scams, automated attacks, and they do sometimes evade detection. Don't be afraid of that. Let's talk about some examples of those. They're using some of them in like personalized phishing emails and messages, which you may have already seen. It's amazing at how personal they can get to seem very real, being, you know, using your name, even using maybe a husband's name or something else that's out there. So it's often also mimicking some legitimate communication styles and information from like your website. It can scan your website and gather information and kind of use that. It analyzes social media and other public data out there to target certain individuals and make you kind of believe. It's harder to believe what is real and what is not. So why it matters for you is small businesses are increasingly targeted due to fewer cybersecurity resources. What I would recommend is do a little bit of research. Ask your IT manager about your website. What are you using to protect your website? Stay in touch with social media and Google out there, some of the search engines that you're using to try to protect your advertising and your website from those hackers getting in and using some of that information that's already on your site. There are some resources that are available on each of these discussion points. I've included at the bottom there the source of where I got this information. And again, in this meeting or in this YouTube channel, you'll be able to kind of go back and maybe scan those or link on these hyperlinks to get this, you know, kind of read more of this article. But this information came from IBM. So that might be something just to bring up. Again, education, bring up to your IT manager and say, hey, how are we protecting our company, our website, our social media, our digital marketing, all of that from AI-powered cyber threats? So awareness on that, be aware. The next discussion point is deepfakes and misinformation. So I was like, well, what is a deepfake? I've heard the word before. I'm not sure if you guys know or not, so I looked it up. A deepfake is a digitally manipulated media file, such as video, photo, or audio recordings that appear real, but has been created or altered using artificial intelligence. How many of us has seen in like social media, you're kind of starting to see some Hollywood actors, some fun, you know, memes that are out there using people's faces. My husband showed me one, I think it was yesterday over the holiday. There was like a funny one on 4th of July when England was invading, you know, America, and it looks like you're in the middle of the war, and he's like, and I just don't understand why these Americans are not lining up in a perfect row with bright red suits on and being obvious, and instead they're hiding behind trees and things like this. I don't know. It was funny because it looked like you were actually back in the day, in the middle of it all. And the ability for somebody to be able to do that with a real face, who the words, it's not just the mouth that is moving. It's amazing what AI can do. So what I would say is, how does that, why it matters? It can lead to fraud, reputational damage, and loss of customer trust. It's not so much necessarily that I think that your companies are going to get identified by AI and create these videos or create these advertisements, but just be aware that it happens out there and that it can be done. God forbid, I hate to be able to think of this, but one example I was thinking is, even from a competitor's perspective, there are many times that even I know, like in Google ads, if we are doing some Google advertising, we might, for a competitor, mention our clients' competitors' names in the Google ads, not in the ads themselves, but in search keywords. So that might be an opportunity for maybe, if you have an aggressive competitor out there, just be on the lookout, do some searches for your company, just make sure that what is being advertised represents your company well, that somebody isn't doing it, in a negative way against your company and creating a deep fake or misinformation about your company because of competitiveness. So some of that resource that I got this information from was the McAfee 2023 Consumer Mindset Survey. That reported 32% of people could not detect a deep fake video. Pretty interesting. That was 2023. I wonder what it is in 2025. I didn't have a chance to look and see, but I gotta kind of believe that it's probably higher now, because AI learns, and it could probably only get maybe harder and harder to notice what is real and what's not. Okay, so going into the third topic is bias in AI tools and algorithms. So an algorithm is like a combination of information to come up with a solution or a number or an answer to something. So it doesn't accurately represent the real world population, though. So many AI systems are out there, and they are trained on biased data, which can unintentionally reinforce gender, racial, or economic inequalities. Here's an example, a couple of examples I want to give you, and then I'll give you an example of how it might relate to the hearth industry. For example, and I've had this actually happen to me when I'm trying to create an image or a graphic in an advertisement or in a class that I'm teaching. Facial recognition software that misidentifies people of color, especially darker skinned individuals, more often than lighter skinned individuals. So you may notice sometimes in either emojis, there are a variety of different skin colors that are available, and you get to choose. AI has been recognizing that it stems from the fact that these systems are often trained on data sets that of people of color are unrepresented, and then therefore are leading to inaccurate predictions of like, well, if you ask for a female image, and will show you, let me scooch down to this image here. I just had in this image here, I had this created by AI, and I asked for a woman in a retail setting for a home improvement store. And it automatically came up with, you would say she's probably 20s, 30s. She's got a white or a lighter skin tone. There are prompts that you want to start to learn how to use to get the type of accurate representation of your company or the people who work for you. Don't automatically just take whatever is given. Now, I didn't change the skin color of this because I didn't actually realize this until it actually came up, but I recognize it as I am of lighter skin, so I recognize this as something that I related to. But when it comes to representing your company, you want to just kind of just be sensitive to that. Just make sure that any graphic images that you're creating, you want to try to represent, your audience as best as possible. Notice that I said a home improvement company. I've got, wrenches and hammers. This looks like it represents I got a drill right here and paint. That's not necessarily a Hearth company, but it brought this up when I typed in home improvement. So just be considerate of that and realize that sometimes if your team is putting and creating images out there, that it is representing your company, as accurately as you can, or as you would want it to represent your company. They can also reinforce some harmful stereotypes in regards to like language translations. So if you are ever using AI to create any kind of audible or voiceover or anything like that, again, be considerate of specific genders or ethnic groups. I always say, know who your target audience is and try to represent that audience as best as possible. So that is, and I know this was in an additional, I kind of jumped ahead, but that was an image that I had created. I thought was a good example. So that's the bias in AI tools and algorithms. The next topic is data privacy and legal compliance. Now, for example, I see this as something that you might not think a lot about, but when you're out there doing any kind of advertising and marketing for your company and you're using AI, be considerate of maybe some information about the appliance. Maybe if you're using, for example, project images, before and after photos, without getting consent from the homeowner. That can sometimes cause an issue, because if you're using their images and using it in combination with something else that AI would generate for you for marketing, you want to make sure that that homeowner's image isn't out there with a picture of their family, on the mantle, or something that is identifying who they are, where they live, all of that type of things. You also want to be considerate of your manufacturers and some of their sorry, I didn't put my phone on mute. I should have. Some of their privacy policies about some of their appliances, or maybe it's their venting, if it's proprietary, or anything like that. So data privacy, when it comes to our industry, is not information specifically about, well, it could be about pricing and things as well, but you also want to consider it for HR purposes. You want to make sure that you're being considerate of the information that you use when you're creating AI content that is not that you can't get in trouble for when it comes to your employees, pictures of your employees in some of these photos that are AI generated, or anything else that can come back and get you from a lawsuit perspective. So feel free to put in the chat any specific questions, but I would look up some of the FTC warnings about this and just be aware of it. The next topic is about employee use of generative AI, and that kind of goes along with the data privacy, because when your team is out there maybe using ChatGPT or Gemini, and they're either using a combination of your own photos that you've taken or information about products, you need to make sure that you have some kind of a policy with your team and HR as to what are you allowed to include, what can't you include. So I mentioned pricing earlier. You might not be able to include pricing out there. We'll make sure your team, your employees know this as well, so they're not breaching any sensitive information that the manufacturers don't want you to put out there, or your customer base doesn't want you to put out there. So I did a little research, and there are a lot of great blogs, and Reddit has a lot of great conversations about how to incorporate AI restrictions and parameters in your HR documents to review with your team and say, if you're using AI, do this, but don't do that. And it's just to protect your company and your employees, and also your customers. So the last and little added bonus tips here for simple protection on steps for small businesses. Going back to the first one and talking about your IT manager, Ask if they're using multi-factor authentication, um, excuse me, so that your digital marketing, your website is you're going through a variety of protection barriers, and preventing some of those scammers from getting information about your company or your competitors. It's hard, and I think that everybody's still trying to figure this all out. I know from a marketing perspective, we have a lot of clients sometimes who will say, I'm not seeing any forms, or I'm not seeing any responses, but we had the filter turned up so high that sometimes it was even blocking the good stuff. So finding that balance sometimes is really difficult, but at least be talking with your IT manager to make sure that you are protected, but not blocking any of the good, valid information from your customers. Train your employees, as we just talked about in the last two topics, on phishing and AI scams, but also about some restrictions and parameters that you might want to incorporate into your own marketing messaging when they're using any of the AI tools out there, if they're doing internal social media or if they're doing internal advertising. Have a data privacy policy, with your team. And then also review the AI tools before integrating them into operations. We went to our team and we actually had our whole team go through a prompting class, and everybody did it and got certified in prompting. And prompting is when you go to AI like ChatGPT or Gemini and you say, create a presentation on AI, AI concerns, for my company. And then it will say, okay, it will create something. And then you have to do another prompt to maybe qualify it and produce a little bit better of a result, whether it's an image or a message. These tools are great, but you have to use them to feel comfortable with them, and your team should too. And I would always recommend that no one on your team use anything that you as a business owner are not aware of that they're using. ChatGPT and Gemini are obviously used a lot. There are a lot of other ones that are out there that some people prefer to use over others. I'd love to see in the chat if you can recommend any of them that you use within your company yourself or your team uses. But as a business owner, I would just make sure that your team is not using anything that you are not aware of or that you have not kind of vetted yourself. Just to protect yourself and your customer base and your manufacturer relationships. So that kind of brings us to, as Amy loves to have quotes. This quote, and I'm not sure how many of you know this, but my husband loves this one, trust but verify. If you trust your business choices, but always verify the data that confirms you're moving in the right direction. And as I mentioned before, don't be afraid of AI, be educated on it. Be the one who knows more about it, and you won't be the expert in your company on it, and you won't have to be afraid of it, but trust it, but verify that it is valid and it's good for you, your company, for your employees, for your manufacturer relationships, and for your customer base. So now I'm going to go to the chat and see if anybody had any questions. I know it's a lot of information and it's kind of a little scary, and I tried to make it as touch on the points enough for you to be aware and to be looking into it a little bit yourself. Claude, Janelle, thank you. She uses Claude, but she prefers ChatGPT. Anybody else have any suggestions? Gemini. Would love to know what people are using for images like diagrams. That's a great question. Is there anybody using an AI tool for diagrams? Or supportive drawings, images for slide decks? This whole, by the way, my whole presentation I did with ChatGPT. I went in, I put in what the topic was. I prompted it by asking specific questions for women business owners, although it really didn't specify too much about gender, but just more about small business owners. All of these images were done with ChatGPT and Gemini. I tend to think that ChatGPT is better at some of the images than Gemini is. Gemini tends to get confused sometimes about what I want. Maybe I'm not prompting it well. I thought this was a cool one, deepfakes and misinformation. And this is what it came up with. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool. Don't know how relevant it is, but, and then this one was very ominous, but again, all of these images and these overview, my whole deck was created with the topic, the point, an overview and why it matters, and a source. And I love that kind of outline that it offered me because it was quick to the point topics.
Is anyone building a language learning model using your website? We've been doing that. So, for example, all of the data that we have on our website that people don't read before they call us and ask us the same questions. Our phone, our Ring Central phone that is also using AI can take any data that's on the website and learn from the questions people ask. So as long as we have that information available, either within our internal documentation or in the website, the AI can answer that. So just wondering if anyone has experimented with that and found it to be useful or not. So far, it seems to do really well with like basic troubleshooting, like, oh, my pilot light won't stay on. If they give enough information, the AI can walk them through some things to try. Like Shannon has pointed out, obviously you need to supervise your AI. So we get the transcripts of all the conversations, and then we go back through and correct anything that we wouldn't have said or shouldn't have been said in that way, so that it doesn't happen again. But that's a really useful thing to do if you tend to get the same kinds of queries into your website or in phone calls, to have it cut out a lot of that. And
Ash, if I can add to that,
emails.
it is a different system than just a regular chat, just to let everybody know. It is AI, it does learn, but it only learns as much as you manage it. You need to be the human. AI cannot just do it by itself, and do it well by itself. It needs, if you want it to be done right, you need to be monitoring it. You need to identify somebody in your office to be reviewing as Ash was saying, the requests, the questions. People ask almost the same thing, but in various different ways. And you want to make sure that it's coming to the same, same answer and solution. It is awesome in this industry to be used, because it does help. It's almost like that digital employee that you don't have to pay pay to be available 24/7, 365. The one thing that we have noticed with our clients that, Ash, I'd be curious if you've had this experience as well. There are some caching issues sometimes with AI. So when there's a promotion that's on a website and then the promotion comes down, sometimes the AI will still see that or recognize it and will bring it up. And you got to just make sure that that promotion is not, because it's not available, it can't be recognized anymore. But if it was cached, sometimes you need to make sure that as the human, you're removing it or prompting the AI to say, this promotion is no longer available if somebody brings it up on their website and sees it from a cached view at some point. Did you ever notice that, Ash, with yours?
Well, if we had our shit together enough to actually run promotions, I might have, but we're still, I mean, I bought the business less than a year ago and we're still working on that. But that is a good point. I have a background in tech as a software engineer, so I understand how the caching issues work. I think if you can set your agent to automatically clear the cache, which you wouldn't want to do too frequently because it might be useful, but you could definitely set it up that way. For us, it's been most useful in saving time, like I said, answering those questions that the customer is happy to. I mean, I think customers are unhappy if they're forced to talk to AI and it doesn't actually help them, but if they're just have a question they want answered and it actually answers the question, then we've only gotten positive feedback from that. Even though we serve a much less technologically proficient kind of bracket of people. No one has complained about our AI answering machine yet. So, and
Yeah.
even in the messages they leave or in what I'm reading in the transcripts, half the time they don't even realize that they're talking to
Mhm.
your recording.
Exactly. Yeah, it gets to be more and more realistic. However, I've also reviewed for our clients who are using the AI agent, what we call an AI agent, is that they'll say, I just want to talk to, if they're not getting the answer they want or the way they want it, they'll be like, I just want to talk to a real person. So always also make sure that you're giving the prompt when somebody asks those questions or says that you can, I will connect you with somebody and they'll be in touch with you shortly, or even identify that I am AI, but I have all the answers you might need. And if you want to speak with a live person, you can call us at this number, during business hours. So that's the biggest complaint, is when people get frustrated, they don't get the answers they think they want. They're like, I want to talk to a real person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we always have the option of just switching to a voicemail. Like they can just leave a voicemail or try to ring through.
Awesome. Anybody else have some real life experiences that they're using?
There's a question here about AI answering service, and that's what we're using. So we're using Ring Central with the AI add-on. Is that what the question is?
Yeah, FutureNow Marketing uses, we use, it's a whole system, and that's the answering service is a part of that. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Well, if I had known,
Not trying,
maybe I would have gone with
not
yours.
trying to sell anything here. Just saying, yep, just based on experiences.
Yeah.
Nikki says that she was trying to build her own GPT, but there are definitely limitations, and it likes to make up answers when tested, and you're concerned about that. And Nikki, it is just one of those things that you just have to keep personalizing and reviewing, because you are the human and this industry, and you're teaching AI to give those answers. So sometimes there are definitely some limitations, but you got to keep working on that. If you have any questions on that, by the way, if anybody has any prompting questions or how to personalize it a little bit more, just contact me and I'll get you in touch with my team. So you can always ask them questions. No sales pressure or anything like that, but just based on our experience in AI, we might be able to help you out with what you're dealing with. Yeah, we have a software technology question. Does anyone use a 3D rendering for fireplaces? Has anybody done that?
We are starting that. We're still looking for the best software to use. Formerly, the owner here was not really using any kind of software for design. So we're starting from scratch. So I'd be interested
Interesting.
if other people know of good ones for that.
I'm curious about the manufacturers. What the manufacturers are offering or doing.
So we do outdoor kitchens and we have design, and we've used Pro Kitchen software to design our kitchens. So you can sort of manipulate that software to help make a fireplace. We've also used SketchUp, and there's a free version of SketchUp. So that would be another way. And then Stoll has ProFit software for their outdoor kitchen. And there's a fee per month. And so it has some different things too, that might be something to help outline some things.
Great. Thank you for that feedback. Could you put those things in the chat so then everybody can kind of like, if they missed it, they could write it down. We are at 3:07. So everybody, I will still open it up to any kind of conversations that anybody has any experiences or any questions. But if you have to jump off, totally understand. Bottom line, don't be afraid of it. Remember when social media came out? Everybody was not sure about social media. I even still get clients who say, I hate social media. I'm not on it. It's all about who's on it, though. If your target audience is on it, then you need to be on it, or at least your company needs to be on it. And in just like Ash was saying, if you're not able to answer these questions for your audience, and believe me, I've seen so many responses for clients in forums and chats in the middle of the night. I mean, remember, there's second and third shift. There's people who are just stressing in the middle of the night. Should I or should I not change out my fireplace? But it does happen. And so to have AI as a tool, as an agent, as a digital employee, it's just an extra backup. Just try to identify a human who can kind of monitor it and manage it and be responsible for it. But it's only going to continue to grow and be more available for people. So embrace it. Don't be afraid of it. All right. I can't wait to see what you guys put out there and use how you use AI in your businesses, and hopefully help you to grow your businesses too. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention also, when we're talking about target audiences, new business owners who are coming up in the industry, young people. I'm 53. I'm not afraid to say it. I get it. I've been around. But the new generation that's coming up, they are comfortable with technology. And so my oldest son is going to be 34 in a few weeks, and he has a home, and he doesn't like to talk on the phone too much with other people. So if he can talk to an AI agent, or if he can do his research online and get information first before he talks to somebody, he feels more comfortable. So understand that your customer base is coming up as homeowners, and they are more comfortable with technology. So your companies need to be comfortable with technology too, so that you're available for your target audience to kind of maybe consider you a little bit more than just not having it available. All right. Thanks for your time, everybody. Again, on the screen here is the QR code for Facebook. If you haven't followed Women's Mentoring Program on Facebook yet, Amy posts a lot of great information up there sometimes. And she will be sending out the link to the YouTube channel for this video if you want to share it with anybody else in your team. And we'll see you next month. The next meeting again is August 12th.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon, so much. All right, you guys.
You're welcome.
Any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or to Shannon, especially if it's AI related. Reach out to Shannon. Anything else, reach out to me. That's great. And we will see you guys in August.
Thank you.
Bye.
You all.
Bye.